What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing Sideways number 3. And I've really been liking this series. I know some people have kind of nitpicked here and there. I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a good hero kind of becoming a hero story, which really that's the interesting part. Not, the hero staying a hero, but really the hero blossoming into really what a hero does. This picks up right where issue 2 left off with Derek having a conflict with Killspeed in the hospital. And you get, what I like too is they kind of flesh out his powers a little bit more in this issue. And at the end they give you kind of this like stepping out with Sideways, which kind of reminded me of like an old school comic thing to do. That I'll kind of show this first. It does a good job of catching you up on his origins, and I know this is only issue 3, but they never really dove into his origins in the first 2 issues. You kind of just got, he was in Gotham during the events of Dark Knight Metal 1. He fell into a rift into the dark dimension. He came out the other side, and all of a sudden he had powers. And they never explained how he discovered them. They kind of do that here, and it's kind of a little cheesy, thing about how he got his costume. But I like that because it again fleshes out the character. So again, this kind of picks up where he left off. He was in the hospital trying to escape a Time Lord. He hurt his shoulder. His mom is worried about him. Another really good fact about Derek is he's adopted. And this could be a spoiler. This is pure conjecture, but there is some stuff that comes out at the end of the issue with his mom that leads me to believe that Derek was adopted for a reason. And maybe he didn't get his powers just because of the events of Dark Knight Metal. That maybe that kind of maybe brought his powers out. And again, that's just me spitballing. I have my opinions. People like them, people don't. It is what it is. Opinion number 1, though. That is a nice tush right there. So Killspeed is kind of. She's a speedster, and you get, unfortunately, they spend, a couple pages on her origin story, but it gives a little humanity. So she's racing towards him. All he wants to do is kind of get her outside. And she's like, no, I'm going to take this whole hospital down. So he's like, well, it is what it is. So he opens a rift right in front of her, which again, man, that is some superb back-endage. So he sends her like right outside and instantly loses her. Again, she's a speedster. It is what it is. But this is what I like. He uses his powers already in a new way, and he starts opening a ton of rifts and looking all over town to see if, she, where she is. And finally he finds her, corners her. She gives her sob story. She had cancer, couldn't afford the medical bills. I didn't like this where she says, my insurance only covered so much and I was nowhere near as famous for a GoFundMe. You don't have to be famous for a GoFundMe. I mean, you just have to, again, have a good enough story and sob it out. I mean, there are plenty of not famous people getting their stuff paid for on GoFundMe. But then, of course, she gets struck by lightning as a part of kind of the beginning of this flash run during the Speed Force lightning storm, which gave a lot of people in Central City speed powers. So she, of course, starts using them for evil. She said she would rob from the rich and give to the needy, but of course she was the needy. Another cool part where you get to see kind of a new facet of Derek's powers is he opens a rift, and he said, I always wondered what the edges of the rift were like. So, you you can go into the middle, but what would happen if you hit the edge of the rift? And it turns out that they're like, it's completely indestructible. So like, if you hit the middle of it, you would go right through it, but it would be like a steel wall, like if you just hit the side of it. So he's able to kind of throw up a little bit of a shield to block himself from this bus. What I don't like is this like this lengthy couple sentence down here, because the editors couldn't figure out a sound effect to use for this bus. I don't know, a smash, crash, boom, anything, but they make it like kind of cutesy. Hi, it's the editor again. We had a little disagreement of what the sound effect should be for the bus hitting the rift, so instead we decided to let the art speak for itself. You can come up with your own noise. Why? Just throw a boom in there. I don't care. No one cares. So she, obviously the bus blows up. She's smart as a speedster. She starts to run around him, trying to create a vacuum, suffocating him. But he throws a rift horizontally, and again, the edges of his rifts are indestructible. So she trips over it and sends her flying. And there's one more part of his power that, again, shows in this issue. So as the cops are trying to kind of hey, freeze, she grabs him and he backs into a rift and falls out. And he's like, oh man, I got away from her grip. So if a rift closes on you, cut off. Again, I enjoy that they're kind of having fun with these powers. That would be traumatizing as hell if that were me. But I'm really interested to see kind of where Derek's going from here. There was a little hint of some darkness seeping through his rifts in the last issue. I want to see where that goes. But yeah, this is definitely a good series to read. If you want something, again, classic comic book funness, this is where it's at. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos, hit me up in the comments, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.